I'd like to call our 2023 meeting to order. I'll give you a brief outline of the meeting. That first we'll have the business meeting, which will be the treasurer's report, clerk's report, president's report, the election of the members, an open discussion, a break for refreshments, and then our guest speaker, Wayne Fiden, former head of planning in Northampton. He's told by, this was online, he's one of Northampton's longest serving municipal leaders, a man the mayor described as among the most influential government officials. He'll inform us about development and conservation and how it can coexist. I'd like to have the board members introduce themselves. Marty?
I'm sorry?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Marty Klein.
Board member.
Michael Carone.
Bill Burgard.
It's not bad. It should be working fine.
Ackley, the clerk.
It's not working.
Tom Matzenizer, board member.
John Bader, Vice President. He done the motor meeting. Lost time to
No, not really. Diane McLean, president. We
Molly,
switched.
do you want to?
Yes.
Molly Goodwin. Mary Lou Dodge.
Kayla Champagne.
Couple out there.
I'm Scott Connerman, I'm a board member. And
Hi, Rachel, board member.
Fred Andreessen, board member.
First we'll have the treasurer's, there we go. First we'll have the treasurer's report.
All right. We're going to try to have a murder's report, so we'll see. Bear with me for 1 second.
slides. You had the sequence.
Only mine.
She has a list of who's going to say what.
Mark is good. So we have folks reading these slides that everybody knows. You have to get in front of the microphone to read it. Okay.
yeah,
Right. So it's a great. We wanted to yep,
Too early.
give our appreciation to everyone on our fiscal team.
What is, no, sorry.
That's,
Marty's the first one to
Marty's
read.
the first.
That's the first slide. We didn't practice everything. We're like really good at drills. Tech is not our stuff, so we're going to hang out with those. Some pretty. So this is your side, yeah. Right? Because you're the fungus guy.
Okay.
Who else could read this slide?
Well, this is a slide that, a picture that we took last year when I led a mushroom walk at Dwyer property. And that is, remind me, Rachel.
Sky. My
And
friend's
they found some little green elf caps on that log.
But you're supposed to read the top part, which says,
Yeah.
fungus is more interesting
Am I
than
supposed to
that,
say
but
that?
here we are.
Yeah,
So this
yeah,
is so
Okay. For those of you who can't read, I'm in there.
Fred, you're going to read that?
Oh, I didn't know we were going to read it. I was proofreading.
oh no, yeah, no, this is presentation stuff.
Aren't you glad we just
So
conserve land and don't do
the sound isn't going out to the,
Okay, well, everybody can read it. If you don't want to read it, that's fine.
no, just to the remote people. Unless you can't read it here. Yeah, I was going to. But anyway, this is a map drawn by Native American scholar Lisa Brooks of Native people who lived in this area for thousands of years before being forcibly displaced by white settlers. The Nipmuc, which you can see kind of down there, which translates in English to people of the fresh water, held the land as sacred. Being forced off of their land meant disconnecting from food and water sources, cultural materials, and traditional practices. We hope to collaborate in land conservation efforts in Easthampton and provide opportunities for the Nipmuc and other Native Americans to engage in cultural practices on the land. We will offer a scholarship to Native American youth and to a community member who helps lower barriers to accessing land for people of color.
Diane, do you want to do this?
We are grateful to everyone who donated and became a member. We're all a vital part of Pascommuck Conservation Trust. We truly are.
Okay, I'll read this one. Great appreciation to our fiscal team, that's Sue and Ed on the right, and our accountant, our CPA, who's helped me tremendously, Brian. That's it. And now we have Mary Lou who's going to read this part, right? Can you read it or not? It's not in-
Right here.
Okay.
But I can read it. Revenue highlights special donation of $1,900 for invasives removal. Donation designated in honor and memory of PCT friends. Comprised 68% of unrestricted donations, total of $17,917. And our first grant from the Markham Nathan Foundation was received. And fundraising, raffle sales doubled, and new t-shirts and coats revenue stream was created. Total income, $47,310.05.
And I've positioned myself incorrectly, but my slide is about the expense highlights. So we had, a little over 32,000 in expenses, and some of that is the usual, legal fees and directors and officers insurance and that kind of stuff. The call out is about the program expenses of a little over $22,000. So it was an expensive year for trail maintenance. We did a ton of work. We had trees down. We had the two photos there are the new aluminum bridge at Pomeroy Meadow, which was $10,000. And at the same site, we replaced all the treads and railings on that big stairway. So we spent a lot of money on trail maintenance, which is most of what we're supposed to be doing. So the bulk of the funding went to those programs maintaining the trails this year.
The PCT's balance sheet shows our overall financial picture for 2022, having a modest net gain of $4,491.46. This is primarily due to high trail maintenance, as Scott noted, and it was cost and the loss of our investment account of $4,695. This compares to our net gain in 2021, which was $22,672.74. And that's
And looking ahead and our goals for the coming year, changing our fiscal year end to 6/30, increasing donations through outreach, revenue streams, and new member goals. Starting a finance committee with community members, local business owners, and more, and to recommend a fiscal year budget. Bring all fiscal and organizational records up to date with the Commonwealth. And lastly, implement the Markham Nathan grant.
And Kermit the Frog said, bleep, bleep, that's all, folks.
Can we have a motion from the floor to accept the treasurer's report?
Make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as read.
Second? Could we have a second? A second? Oh, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Next is the clerk's report. Molly will read the clerk's report from last year.
So this is the clerk's report from the annual meeting from last year on April 19th, 2022. The board attendees were Fred Anderson, John Bader, Michael Carone, Kayla Champagne, Mary Lou Dodge, Molly Goodwin, Marty Klein, Tom Lotzenheiser, who I believe was on Zoom, Diane McLean, Scott Tunderman was also on Zoom, and the people on the board who weren't there were Rachel Teluskin, Sue Waltz, Don Ackley, and Bill Burgott. And guests were Garrett Stover and about 35 to 40 other folks. The clerk's report was read and a motion was made and seconded, and it was accepted. The President's report, John discussed the activities and projects for 2021 and goals for 2022. For fundraising grants and donations, we had plant sales, Memorial Bench fundraiser, Give Back to the Land, and Easthampton Savings Bank grant. For public relations and outreach, we planned on newsletters, the Easthampton High School Scholarship. Arcadia was going to include us in their trail map, and Garrett did a presentation. For land acknowledgement, we got the grant from Nathan Markham, so we were doing scholarships for POC and Indigenous students. Property maintenance and land protection, there was drainage on Cherry and Mount Tom Streets fixed by the town at the Brickyard Brook property. Infrastructure, Kevin Mulligan worked diligently to keep trails, stairs, and bridges in good shape. The Pomeroy Meadow Bridge needed major replacement, and Old Trolley Line also needed some things done. As far as discussion of area land protection, Reservation Road new development was felt to be threatening wildlife, and at the old quarry there was a proposal by owners of the Mount Tom Old Quarry to fill it in with clean construction materials. We were also working on efforts to develop internal procedures and tasks. Okay. Goals for 2022 were plant sales, benches, timeline, newsletter for the 40th, events and collaborations for 2022, etc. For the board member re-election, last year it was John Bader, Molly Goodwin, Susanna Waltz, and Scott Sunderman. The treasurer's report, Diane read the report. A motion was made from the floor to accept and was seconded. All were in favor. During the open discussion, we reviewed plans for the 40th anniversary of PCT with some discussion of remembered history from prior board members. Reminder that new board members are needed, especially from the younger generation. There were questions from the audience regarding dog walking, property maintenance, and acquisitions. For our main presentation, Tom Riccardi, the Raptor Rehabilitator, owner of the Birds of Prey Rehabilitation Center, gave a very animated presentation. And we adjourned at 9.
Can I have a motion from the floor to accept the clerk's report?
So moved.
Can I have a second, please? A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Now onto the president's report. I'll try. Printed out quite a few pages, so I'll try to make it a little fast. Fundraising and grants. As everyone knows, we hold 2 plant sales, one in the spring, April 29th, and one in the fall, September 16th. That'll be this year. Again, we'll be at City Hall, 50 Payson Avenue. And these are some of our best outreach and fundraising events. We have an ongoing Memorial Bench fundraiser. We have a minimum of 7 benches in place so far. There's room for more. It's a great way to honor someone or a group. Sue Waltz, we want to give a thanks to her. Her Nashawanek Pond calendar sales were all donated to the PCT, and she sold all the calendars that she produced. So she does that every year, so it's really nice. The PCT has been awarded the grant, as you heard, from the Markham Nathan Fund. We've set up a committee to implement that process. An additional fundraising project includes PC t-shirts, which are worn by some, and tote bags. If you'd like one, you can just let us know and we'll get you one for free. They are fundraiser. Public relations. In 2022 was our big 40th annual 40th year. We celebrated that at John Bader Park. One of the celebrations was at John Bader Park in June, where Mom Tom Ice Cream created PCT's signature porcupine ice cream. And John, along with his backup entertainment, entertained us with his original songs. Speakers there included Representative John Velas, Easthampton planner Jeff Bagg, Bob McConnell from Passionate Friends, which is located right next to John Bader Park, and one of the founders of the PCT and former mayor, Mike Tausnick, who offered remarks celebrating what PCT has done, how it started. In 2022, our annual meeting featured, as it was said, Tom McCarty, Raptor Rehabilitator, and we just wanted to note, as a side note, his facility was hit by a couple trees from the past storm, and they have a GoFundMe page if anyone's interested. Further celebrating our 40th year, we had a well-attended 40th celebration event hosted and held at Park Hill Orchard. There was music. It turned out to be a really nice day, so it worked out really nicely. We had guided walks, food, and Park Hill had their famous homemade frozen cider, which was really nice. I've never had frozen cider. I was never stopped by there. It's really good. A few of our board members led a number of guided walks. One at Dwyer, Old Trolley Line, and Mutterfield. There were actually 2 at Mutterfield. We instituted our online newsletter, Manhan Meander. It's a way to share your experience on PCT properties. It's online. We've been putting it out to our members quarterly, maybe more often, whenever there's anything. We ask that members send in pictures of flora, fauna, birds, so we can all share what's out there and our properties. We also created a timeline for our 40th anniversary. It was quite a project, and it was really a great way to stand back and document all that PCT had done. I believe Scott and Mary Lou and many others put a lot of hours into that, and that's really good. Now we have more to add on. Scott?
Part 2.
Yes. We awarded a PCT scholarship to support an Easthampton High School grad interested in the environment. We are involved also, we've become more involved in community events, cultural chaos, Winterfest, hosting tables at the farmers markets, and we have tables at other venues as well. On to property maintenance, which is always done by volunteers and the board. Maintenance of our trails, a large number of work parties are held to improve trails and do maintenance. And trees. There were many down trees this year. Some we could manage ourselves, and quite a few that required the services to clear the trails because they were really big. John and his chainsaw took care of a lot of them. Yeah, the ones that we could manage. There were a couple really big ones. We've had many infrastructure repairs, bog bridges, sets of stairs, platform railings. As you saw on the screen, our Pomeroy Meadow Conservation Area was closed for many months because our 24-foot plus footbridge had collapsed. It was going over a dingle. Then we installed a 30-plus metal footbridge, so hopefully that'll stay for many years. And this was with the help of our volunteers and land steward. You know who Garrett is. Who engineered it. We had some help lugging the 30-foot beams and other parts to the work area, and then put all the pieces together by our board members and volunteers. It was really quite the project. Dwyer Bog Bridge was another large bridge project that was built and installed to keep the conservation area safe and your boots somewhat clean. We do have a lot of maintenance that comes up yearly. Onto land preservation. We are involved in the monitoring of the proposed Sierra Vista Commons, as you all know, it's a development at the former Tasty Top site. We've submitted numerous letters and maps to the Planning Department and the Easthampton Conservation Commission, as well as board members speaking and attending those meetings. As you know also, the Mount Tom North project on East Street, which saved at least 23 acres from development. It was done in collaboration with PCT, Kestrel Land Trust, the City of Easthampton, Easthampton Community Preservation Act, and the residents of Easthampton. And there was a ribbon cutting in the summer. We are also working with the Appalachian Mountain Club for trail connection. We received a gift of land near Old Pascommuck property and naming it the Old Bed Fish and Wildlife Area. It's a very important parcel that will preserve a section of the Manhan River. This 10+ acre parcel was, it's very fitting because our first parcel was Old Pascommuck, which was in 1982, and this new parcel bookended that in 2022. And I don't know if Garrett has the time to go over a press release for that. I didn't give him a heads up.
We would like very much to thank Christina Peterson, who just retired from the Department of Fish and Game. I'm not sure she was working on this for the entire 10 years that it took to get this donation accepted. But Pascommuck basically stepped into the shoes of the Department of Fish and Game. Some attorney in Boston had difference of opinion about the access. Anyway, so here's the press release that's going out tomorrow morning. In a fitting close to its 40th anniversary year, Pascommuck Conservation Trust recently received the very generous gift of over 10 acres of land along the Manhan River. The property also represents an historic bookend, as it lies next to Old Pascommuck Conservation Area, the local all-volunteer land trust's first ever acquisition, completed in December 1983 with the assistance of the late Terry Blunt and the Connecticut River Watershed Council. The family of the late Helen and John Ramsey, which donated the 2 parcels, spent their childhoods exploring, hunting, fishing, and trapping along the riverbank. The intact floodplain forest and meadow near the confluence of the Manhan River and the Oxbow are state-recognized critical wildlife and plant habitat. During a spring flood in 1840, the Connecticut River cut a new course bypassing a wide bend in the river. The cut-off section of the river, the Oxbow, became known as the Old Bed. That name has long persisted among those living in the neighborhood, and the Land Trust now uses it to describe the donated property. One part of the newly protected land is accessible from the existing Old Pascommuck Conservation Area. These old and new sections are separated by River Street, the historic town road running under the Manhan Rail Trail. From colonial times until the 1960s, a bridge spanned the Manhan in its location. This wonderful gift furthers the Land Trust's work protecting the Manhan River corridor and safeguarding its rich ecological value, fulfilling one of Pascommuck's primary goals of preserving and enhancing Easthampton streams and ponds. And we'll be putting up signs very soon. Just picked them up the other day.
What does it say?
Dawn hasn't painted it yet. Jeff had
There's an
chance.
end on.
You have to read it.
The Old Bed Fish and Wildlife Area.
Okay.
So this is going to be added to new Old Pascommuck conservation areas.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I do want to thank that family, the Ramsey family, and I hope that their gift inspires other gifts of land.
Thank you, Garrett. We were very pleased to receive that gift. It was great. So going on goals for 2023, we'll continue to monitor the proposed Sierra Vista Commons, the development at former Tasty Top site. That's been taking up a lot of our time, but it's definitely worth it. It's right next to our Dwyer property, so we're heavily involved. We'll continue to be involved in the Easthampton Land Protection Collaborative, which is a collective group including members from the PCT, Kestrel Land Trust, Mass Audubon, Fish and Wildlife, and the City of Easthampton. We meet quarterly to discuss properties and what we can do about furthering our land conservation. We'll need to create and install signage for our newest property next to Pascommuck, the old bed. Land protection on 4 properties are now being vetted. We currently have 4 properties in our sites to conserve and protect. We'll continue to supply scholarship to an Easthampton High School grad interested in environmental studies. Our plant sales, of course. At least 1 newsletter. We'll continue to monitor and maintain our PCP properties. Our invitation is open to anyone to join us in pruning, breaking, weeding, monitoring. If you'd like to volunteer and haven't already, you can see Molly. And we wanted to thank her and all our volunteers. We are going to increase our outreach with information tables. Outreach for articles, photos, again for the Manhan Meander. Please send them to Mary Lou. She's on our website. This way we can share your experiences out on our properties, and we appreciate that. We'd like to shout out to all our volunteers and Molly. I have you on here twice because you're so good at it. And who manages the volunteer listserv and keeps
I
them
would
up.
also just like to say thank you so much to the volunteers. We really couldn't do it without you. And we have some that are just extremely loyal, and it's very grateful.
For 40 years, the PCT has been able to do what we do, thanks to all of your generous help and support. So we really want to thank you. And that's the President's report. Can I have a motion to accept the President's report from the floor?
So moved.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
There's a new re-election of members. We up for re-election are Don Ackley, Fred Andresen, Bill Burkhart, Michael Caron, and Marty Klein. And myself. And myself, but there's another one. And myself. Would a member from the floor like to make a motion to approve the re-election of these board members?
Yes, I would like to salute and support their nomination.
Thank you. Could we have a second? Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, this is a little awkward, but we would like to make a motion to elect Diane McLean as president and John Bader as vice president. Would a member of the floor like to make a motion to approve those elections?
I would like to move that.
Thank you, Roger. Could we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask the board nominating committee and the floor if they have any suggestions for new board members, and if anyone from the floor wishes to be nominated. Let's go.
You weren't ready for that, were you?
Just some arms.
Now's the time for open discussion.
Another meeting.
Open discussions if anyone has any questions or would like to bring up a topic. How many people are normally on the board?
I think we have 13,
But the provision in our bylaws is up to how many?
21.
Up to 21.
So there's room. If you're interested, just let us know.
Small town.
Not everyone can come to every meeting, and a lot of hands makes quick work, so we can divvy up lots of little pieces, and there's so many little pieces to do. So the more hands and the more variety of skills that are brought, because not everyone has everything you need. I mean, if you have even a little something like, I like to bring the baked goods to the annual meeting, or I like to help do the mailings, or when we have to send out things. I mean, it doesn't take much to contribute to be helpful, and then to have an opinion about how you'd like the lands in Easthampton preserved, and to direct our efforts. Just if you have any opinion about how to direct our efforts into keeping open space available for everybody, that's all it really takes to be a board member. I mean, that's how I got on, and I fill little niches here and there, and there's a lot of things I don't do, a lot of things I don't do well. So anyway, that's a little fill in the board member thing. It's
Right.
not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
We welcome anyone. Are there any other questions or comments? Yes.
Question. Are there any skill sets that you're looking for in particular within your board membership that perhaps are not necessarily lending forward, but maybe technology or media or something, social media, something like that, that might be helpful to you?
Yes.
Well, or others. I'm thinking fitness.
All in
There's
favor?
Yeah.
Fitness,
You don't need a
things
second.
like that people who have different skill sets can bring to your board membership that might be different than what has preceded the board before. And I'm wondering what those items might be, and maybe if you have it tonight, let's hear about it, and if not, I'd love you to think about that and let us know.
Sure, we have a whole list.
Awesome.
Social media for sure, PR, fundraising, and any of the committees. The committees we have so far right now are the Native American Engagement and the Finance Committee. And those are open for, anyone can help on that. I don't know if anybody has any other thoughts.
Well, there is always, back to property maintenance, any new ideas for that or helping with that is a big one too. But yeah, the PR for sure. There's a few of us that tend to go sit at the tables. We could use some more energy with that.
Those first three are definitely areas that we don't have a lot of experience, and it's kind of shown over the last few years as far as when social media has risen, and we could maybe use some marketing and some tech, and more than one person that has half of the skills needed for tech would be really nice to have that support, because obviously we could have done this a lot better.
Right, and since we are an all-volunteer organization, like Fred said, we all try to make all the meetings, but it's sometimes we're not able to, and that goes along with trail maintenance. Not everyone's able to do the trail maintenance at the same time we have a work party, so the more the better.
Outreach and communications is so important for us, beyond the fact that no one can spell or pronounce our name. There's so many people in the city that still don't know who we are, even though we've been here for 40 years. And so we're constantly trying to reach out and let people know that what we're doing and the fact that we're doing it for everyone here. So that's our job.
We had a raised hand.
Yeah, I'd be interested in joining the board, but I'm happy to talk about that more privately or
Sure,
afterwards, or-
that'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, see any one of us.
Okay.
Good, yes.
I'm going to swing back to your recruitment of more of many more youthful participants on the board or perhaps on some subcommittees or something, and I'm wondering what the relationships are with the schools. Is there anything in existence with Williston, perhaps? And is there anything other than the scholarship with the Easthampton School, high school in particular, but the other schools that the kids could get involved in, the teachers, perhaps parents even, families that can get involved in, that gives them some sort of credit and acknowledgement in their development as individuals, young individuals, and how they can learn to participate in what you're doing and how to carry that forward.
That's an area that we could definitely use help with. In the past, John and I have given a couple of talks at the high school, but beyond that, no, we haven't made that connection. We haven't done a good job with that, but there's plenty of room for improving.
Each of the schools is so distinctly situated where your trails are and all around, and they just love it outside. I think that has value.
Good stewardship and so forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you.
There's a lot to be done. And we welcome ideas. If you wanted to just, write to our website is pctland.org. If you just want, if you didn't want to do it and you had ideas, we welcome those as well. It'd be great.
Well, I've got some suggestions from the peanut gallery. Pruning expertise for tree pruning, chainsaw use
Yes.
expertise, grant writing,
Yep.
Website and database programming. Opinions about how to use land is a good skill set. What about legal? Legal expertise. So some of those things.
We meet the first Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock at Eastworks, right across from Riffs, the big room. And
160 is the room.
okay, and you're always welcome to come to a meeting, just to hear what's going on, to offer some thoughts. It doesn't mean a commitment to joining the board, so they're open meetings. Anyone's welcome to come.
Yes.
Garrett. I want to put in one additional pitch, is that I'm getting old. Land protection is one of Pascommuck's major goals, and Diane's worked with me on a couple of acquisitions, but we definitely need people who want to learn how you do land protection.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And the more the merrier on that front. Was there another question? Yeah.
Let's say hypothetically an enthusiastic community member who has a captive audience and, her patients could do like a one-off event with y'all, like to do a programming event to help increase awareness of the trust and offer some engagement with one of the properties and have a single event. Is that a thing that we could engage with you on, like, without dipping our toe too deep into the board waters?
Yes. I would say absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, we would welcome anything like that. We've done a number of events. Mary Lou had taken some of her past clients and brought them out to Mutterfield and have done things like that. So yeah, yes, thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay.
How do you find out about when you're doing a trail clearing?
Molly has a list of volunteers.
You just give me your email.
And she sends out probably a week ahead of time when we're doing trail maintenance, And it's a lot of fun. It's like a party in the woods.
There's a paper over there that you can write names and emails and stuff on.
So we have someone that'd like to contribute from remote. Is that Leah Ewing? Go ahead. Oh,
It's very quiet.
Go ahead, Leah. Can you hear us?
Try again. Oh boy, that's quiet.
I think she did a chat saying something.
Never mind, I can send them an email.
Okay.
It was, can I speak to developments at Mountain View School?
Oh, can
They
we?
said, never mind, I can send them an email.
Perfect.
And also, Zoomers can now hear loud and clear.
Oh, good.
Great, thank you.
What meeting may
We have-
again.
We have our tech.
Well, we should just tell everyone, you might
Yes.
say it, that if the meeting stops, to just rejoin.
Yes, if the meeting stops for you, please rejoin. And it's also being recorded, so we'll have it up on our website, pctland.org. Any other questions? Okay. We would, I'd actually like to welcome Marty to say a few words as we honor John Bader for all of his hard work and boundless commitment over the last 23 years of his presidency.
Well, you know, these days you see a lot of movies and TV about superheroes. Well, it turns out that there are some in real life. And legend goes that many, many years ago, he was bitten by a radioactive tick. We're not sure if that's true or not, but it's possible. Anyway, John Bader has served Pascommuck for over 3 decades as its president and leader, and just all around, you need it, I'll do it kind of guy. John grew up here, and he knows so many people in the community, and that's been invaluable over the years to make connections and to help us acquire properties. He's just been a fantastic leader for us, and his time has come, but we're keeping him on as our vice president because we still need him. And anyway, do we have something that we wanted to give John tonight?
We might have something for him.
We might have something for him, and here it is. It's a one-of-a-kind chainsaw lamp. That's right.
Love it.
So if you don't like the book you're reading, you could cut it up. Thank you.
I never expected to be in this for life. That's how it seems to be. And it was a great experience for me. It was either sink or swim when I first took over the presidency. And I don't like sinking, so I had to swim. But we got a lot of things done under my presidency, and I saw a lot of people on board come and go, and I saw a lot of presidents come and go, and nobody stayed as long as I have, and for good reason. It's a tough job, and I just didn't know any better. But I don't. It's the main thing here is when you belong to a land trust, you strive to teach people about conservation, and you also strive to obtain land. And that's what we did, and I'm very proud of the trust for doing that. We have around 16 properties now, and we're looking for more. And I'm sure Diane will make a good president and move the trust on to one higher level or more. And I'll just sit back and enjoy it. Thanks everybody. It's been great.
And I just want to say thank you to Kevin Mulligan, who made this beautiful lamp. There's not another one like it in the world. Guaranteed that. And also Kevin is our trail maintenance guy. He's the chainsaw guy. He's the guy who builds our benches and our tables. And he's just an invaluable member of the team. So thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, there's nothing like a chainsaw lamp.
I hope it starts.
It does work.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, good. I'll scare the wife tonight.
We might need to sharpen that chain.
Just a little.
There are so many people that we'd like to thank. John has done an incredible job. He's always out there, and he's the first and last one to leave the trail when you're doing maintenance on it. And it just surprises me every time. Like, I'm exhausted, and he goes, well, go on. I'll just take care of the rest of it.
You gotta eat your spinach.
I think so. Can I borrow some? We would like to thank Kevin for all his work on the properties. It's invaluable. And we'd also like to thank Garrett. There's so many people, but thank Garrett for all his hard work. For the whole region, but for the city of Easthampton, he really has, and for the PCT. So it's appreciated. One more thank you. We'd like to recognize Shirley Smith, who recently stepped down from the PCT board, for her 20-plus years of guidance and hard work. She held many positions over the years, including, but certainly not limited to clerk, treasurer, mailing coordinator, newsletter manager. Individuals like Shirley, who volunteered so many hours on so many projects, made the PCT what it is today. We want to thank Shirley for keeping us all in line, and you know what I mean if you know Shirley. So thank you, Shirley. I had something to give. Did you have the print or no?
Well, yeah, we're giving Shirley a gift of one of my prints, and so I brought a map tonight for people to sign if they want to say something that showed.
Nice. Thank you. So now, unless anybody has any questions, we'll break for refreshments, and then our guest speaker, Wayne Fiden, who I mentioned earlier, he'll show us how development and conservation can coexist. It's a topic that's top of mind and much needed at this point in Easthampton. We appreciate it. So help yourself to refreshments. I think there's cider and decaf coffee.